everyone. So it is April 3rd. Everybody is obviously in quarantine. I bought my Swift Cruiser 14.8 last November, and it's been hanging in my garage all winter. And I was hoping to get out ASAP and give it a whirl. But with everything that's happening, hasn't been exactly possible. So anyway, my buddy John has a small river that runs behind his house that isn't very deep, and there's no more ice left in it. We've had a couple of days of rain, so the water's a little bit higher than normally. In the summertime, you can pretty much see most of the riverbank, but during the thaw, it gets to the point where you can paddle it a little bit. So I'm going to head down to his place. I'm going to try out the boat for the very first time. Looking forward to it. I brought my two paddles with me. I brought my double blade, which is a Aquabound 250, I believe, and I also brought my single blade, which is a Gray Owl Voyager 52-inch, which worked really well in my Osprey solo canoe. This cruiser's a pack boat, so I'll be sitting a little bit lower to the bottom of the boat than I was in the Osprey. So I'm curious to see how the single blade works with that. John has a Keewaydin 14, and he also has a single blade as a backup or for rivers. And he says it works really well, especially when we're fishing and you kind of want to maneuver the boat, in certain spots. You don't want to have to, wrestle with the double blade. Then the single blade comes in really handy. So we both bring one whenever we go on our trips in our own boats, instead of having one common spare paddle, which is what we used to do. So anyway, like I said, I'm gonna head down there. It's 4:30, and I don't know if this video will get out before the video I'm going to be filming tonight. I've got a couple of people lined up for a Q&A about backcountry camping and canoeing. Just some questions that I would ask people that are interested in it anyway. So I got some people lined up for that. So I have to be back at the house for 7, so I could film the first chat with my first, I guess you could say, guest. So yeah, I mean, I hope that that goes well. It's like I said, it's just me asking questions, and then eventually I'll answer the questions myself. But with everything that's going on, people are kind of needing something to watch, especially us outdoors people. Having the parks closed down and whatnot is kind of getting to us a little bit. So we'll see how it goes, and see how many people I can get in on it, and hopefully people enjoy it. But for now, I'm very excited to get my cruiser into the water, and yeah, should be interesting. I'm curious to see how it stacks up to the Keewaydin 14, which is the boat that I was going to buy before the cruiser came out, and then I just looked at the cruiser and figured that it was probably a little bit maybe faster, a little bit, I don't know. I like the look of it. It's very sleek. It's very sexy, and we'll see how she goes. I'm assuming it's going to be very similar to the Keewaydin anyway. So anyway, I'll film more when I get there. He's about 5 minutes away, so it won't be too long.
They're pretty similar. It's a little narrow on the inside, pretty close, but it has the look at those crazy cruiser
Okay, so I don't have to like show you the waves in the boat. I'll just link John's channel down below. So anyway, so here's the river that I was telling you about. It's just in John's backyard. Like I said, normally the water's way down below those trees there, like way by, like probably about 2 feet, 3 feet. But yeah, there's a nice little lake section that we paddled last year when I tried my osprey. So yeah, so we're gonna give it a whirl and see how it does. So the two boats, they're very similar in length. I mean, the 6 inches that I have extra, I think it's probably back in this tail bit, because if I look at the top where the end caps are, they're pretty much even.
Pretty close.
Like, I don't see much of a difference in length.
Might be 1.5 inches on the front, and like you said, that bump in the back for
Yeah,
a few more inches.
it's that little tail on the back. It's okay, it'll match the tail I have on my lower back, so you know. Yeah, so anyway, so we're gonna try it out, and yeah, let's we're still doing our social distancing. Can't get much more social distancing than 2 solo boats. And if John wants to take mine out later, he'll just use his paddle instead of using my paddle. They're essentially the same. I think his is a 240, mine's a 250, but essentially the same paddle, both Aquabounds. I think John has the lighter model though. And yeah, so like I said, I brought my single blade as well, because I'm curious to see, sitting lower, if the 52-inch.
Looks like one of the big differences that I'm noticing is the seat height. I have the tall and wide seat, and it looks like your seat is a good amount lower in the boat.
Oh yeah.
Which will mean better stability in waves.
Yeah, because I got the high back seat.
Yeah, mine's the tall and wide high back seat.
Okay, so set off here. First time in it. It feels very similar. Just not tippy, but just a little rocky, like the Keewaydin. But yeah, this is actually, I can see why they took it to gunnels in this, because last year, I think it was because of the paddle though. It was a small paddle, it was a 220 that we used on the ice out trip, and I had taken John's Keewaydin for a little part down the Tim River, and I kept hitting just my thumbs on the gunnel because the paddle was a little bit too short. But yeah, like I'm not nowhere close to this. Plus I'm a wide paddler too, so weird that it's so much narrower in the front than anything I've paddled. The gunnels are like fully pulled in. Oh, I hear sirens, they're coming after us. I'm gonna get out the measuring tape. They know we're here, man!
Can't go through it?
No, I said they know we're here! Yeah, so just looking down the nose of this thing, it's so narrow.
Yeah.
It's crazy looking.
Well, it's because of that like S curve in the gunnel. Oh
that,
wow, looks like the lake's not all the way through, right?
Well, we'll see what happens. But yeah, the primary feels a lot like your boat. I'll turn the camera around so up ahead, there's supposed to be a lake, opening that opens up that doesn't have a whole lot of current. So we have very little current coming where we are right now, but then we'll be able to hop into the current on the way back towards John's, and see how it is in a fast current. But yeah, I know it feels good so far. Actually, I'm fine with it. I'm not saying that, you know, if we were battling alders down the Tim or the Nipissing or something, yeah, so, like I said, I'm using a 250 paddle right now, which is okay for my paddling style, because I don't paddle high. I paddle very wide, so it feels comfortable. But yeah, so far I'm pretty happy with the purchase. It feels really good. Can't wait to get this on a trip so that I could see how it handles in bigger waves across lakes and winding rivers and whatnot. But yeah, no, it's nice. Curious to see what it'll be like loaded down with gear or in wind. My Osprey, although it was great, tracked really well, it was pretty quick. One thing about that boat versus the Keewaydin that I noticed last year on our trip to where were we? Anyway, our Thanksgiving trip, is we got caught coming across in wind back to the camp, and my boat was getting just brutalized by the wind, and John's wasn't. So right now we're in a bit of a heavier current, similar to some upstream conditions in Algonquin, or upriver conditions. See some serious curls on the top, but the boat seems still be tracking pretty well, and it's not. I'm still moving, so. You forgot your log. Said you forgot your log. that? Oh, Jesus. What lives in there? It's an albatross. The current gets you, throws you into a tree, man. It's like... Yeah, I just kind of switched over to the single blade. And it, length feels right. Okay. Yeah, so we're back at John's backyard here. Just a very quick paddle, but it was nice to get to try her out here. I'm just gonna move my boat so John can get in. So I would have to say that compared to the Keewaydin 14, primary stability is pretty much similar. But it feels to me like the secondary kicks in a little bit quicker than the Keewaydin. Paddling it is like it's very similar, except for the fact that because the gunnels are tucked in so tight, it actually feels like they're not even there. It feels like I want to sit on top kayak or something. So anyway, very impressed, very happy with my purchase. So we'll see if John wants to take it for a spin, and I'll film him paddling off if he... Okay, so John's gonna try out the Cruiser 14.8 for the first time. He's paddled his Keewaydin on quite a few trips, so I've only paddled it a couple of times. So he'll have more of a say on what the difference is. Like I said, I'm just going off of memory, and we haven't paddled all year, so there he goes. Yeah, so I'm gonna let him take a good paddle in the boat, and I'll get his impression of it when he gets back. There's no point in me taking his boat for no reason. I've already paddled it, so I'm just gonna hang back here and let him take a little rip in that one. The other thing I could say is I'm very impressed with the tracking of it. The going up the current, I didn't have to compensate my paddling at all. I didn't have to over paddle. It was tracking really straight, and the current was, I had curls on both sides in different directions, so the current was a little wonky. But yeah, very happy with it. And like I said, I cannot wait to get this thing out to Algonquin. Hopefully, if things settle down enough that they can open the parks, and maybe we'll still get a nice out trip. But if not, then we'll just have to go when we can, and maybe take up to fishing here. We live right by a lake over here, so there's pike and walleye and bass in there. But I mean, we'd like to catch the trout. So anyway, John's on his way back. I'm going to get his opinion on camera, and I'll get back to you. All right, so I just got back from the first trip in the 14.8 for you. Yep. Impressions?
So first of all, first thing that strikes you, it's exactly what I heard you say to your camera, just how narrow it is in the front. The S in the gunnels here, it just makes it look fat, quick,
yeah.
Sort of really nice. First impression to me is primary stability feels better than my boat. Secondary stability, very similar. Like you said, very comfortable. You sort of know where it's going to stop. Feels nice. But the primary feels a little bit better, but I'm not sure if that's the hull shape or just the fact that the seat is 2 inches lower. You know what I mean? That gives you, because, especially with somebody with my weight, when I sit high, it's very, it makes that initial stability feel tippier. So definitely, to me, it feels more stable than mine. Not drastically, but more. If anything, paddling it feels great. Had no problem turning it, felt smooth. And in a straight line, definitely, I'd say it feels quicker than mine.
Yeah, well,
again, not drastic.
Yeah, I noticed that it was tracking really straight even in the current, and I wasn't even paddling.
To me, it looked like you were tracking better than I was in the current. And historically, when you had your what was your
the Osprey.
The Osprey, it was the exact opposite.
Yeah.
My boat tracked way better than your Osprey.
Well, I actually mentioned that in my video when we got caught in the wind.
Like I said, I'm happy about, definitely, honestly, if I was buying today between the two, I would buy this, but it's not. At least this is first impressions. Until you're on a trip, and you feel the boat in different conditions, different wave, wind, in different situations. It's hard. You don't really know a boat until you've actually taken it on a trip. But initial impressions, I would if I was buying today, I'd probably buy this over mine. But it's not to the level where I feel the need to sell mine and upgrade. You know what I mean? I'm fine with mine, sort of thing. Like I said, if anything, it does feel a little bit more stable. Again, I think that's the seat, and it feels a little quicker. But not so much that I feel the need to change my boat, but it does feel good. Like I said, turns great, tracks great. If you put down the power, it just cuts goes straight.
Like I said, I'm pretty happy with it. So
yeah, it feels really good to me.
But like I said, I agree with you. If I would have bought the Keewaydin 14 and then tried this out at Paddlecopia or something, I wouldn't have sold my 14 to get this.
It's not such a big difference that I feel the need to change.
It's kind of like the Keewaydin with if a car had basic trim or the piping on the door panels.
Like I said, I would say it does. In my initial impression, it feels a little bit better. I mean, again, looking forward to a trip if we all survive the pandemic. But feels nice, man. But that lower seat is standing up and less graceful.
Like a gazelle. All right, so me and John just had a social distance beer when we got back from our paddle. Yeah, like I said, very happy with my purchase. Can't wait to get it out on a trip. I'm headed home right now to start my second video, which is a Q&A series that I'm going to do with a couple of people. So anyway, we'll see how it goes. The more I record, the more I get comfortable in front of the camera. Now I just have to get out of my little bubble and start interacting with people. So, but I mean, with what's going on right now, me being an introvert most of my life is kind of playing into my my benefit right now. So, all right, catch y'all later.